Charles Leclerc's first win since 2024, and he grabbed it while the championship leader watched his whole afternoon fall apart. Stick with me and I'll show you exactly how Silverstone unraveled. Let's start with the man on top. Charles Leclerc's season has been a story of Saturday promise and Sunday frustration, and at Silverstone he finally put it together. His first win of the year, and it was earned on pure pace. Strip out the fuel and his clean laps were the fastest of anyone in the race, quicker even than the pole sitter before trouble struck. This wasn't inherited, it was driven, and it completes the swing that started when he out-qualified Hamilton on Saturday. So how did the win come together? A clean two-stop, medium then hard, with Leclerc controlling the gap from the front. And then the ending did him a favour. When the safety car came out late, both Ferraris dived in for fresh softs on lap 48. Leclerc had enough cushion to keep the lead. Hamilton didn't, and that's where the podium order was decided, because the car he came out behind had stayed out on old tyres. More on that in a moment. Now the story that decided the championship picture. Antonelli led from pole and stretched his first stint 35 laps, but a wheel shroud fairing had broken off and was bleeding his aero. Look at the lap trace. He stopped on lap 35. The team changed tyres but missed the damage, so back he came on lap 41, and only on the third visit did they rip the broken fairing off and find him some pace again. By then his race was gone, and a track limits penalty rubbed salt in it. Honest opinion, penalising a wounded car that's losing time, not gaining it, feels like a rule that deserves a review. From every card in his hand to ninth through no fault of his own, and the finish itself was pure frustration. Verstappen lost the rear at Stowe and put it in the barriers after 47 laps, and that safety car ran to the flag. Unlapped cars released, no restart, and the crowd booing as the race fizzled out. Under that safety car, Ferrari rolled the dice twice and Hamilton paid for it. He pitted from second while Russell stayed out on worn mediums and track position 1. Russell inherited second, Hamilton crossed the line third, and let's be honest about the day. Compared to Saturday's sprint, this race was short on wheel-to-wheel action. The drama was mechanical misfortune, one big crash, and a strategy call. Splitting the two Ferraris was George Russell, and it was a smart, tough drive. His late pace on those old mediums held up, a fuel-corrected low 132 right when it mattered, and the call to stay out under the safety car was the decisive moment of his race. That's back-to-back big Sundays, the win in Austria and second here, and it moves him up to second in the championship. The quiet story of this weekend is that Antonelli's closest challenger is now his own teammate. The race ran in mild conditions, track around 40 degrees, and that threw the spotlight onto tyre management, especially on the hard. Look who looked after them best. Lewis Hamilton losing just over 0.03 of a second a lap on the hard compound, the strongest of anyone on that tyre. Leclerc was solid too. At the other end, Arvid Lindblad was chewing through his hards nearly 3 times as fast. When it warms up further into the summer, keeping the rears alive like that is exactly what separates the field. McLaren tried the opposite approach. Lando Norris went aggressive with a 3-stop medium, hard medium, then softs at the end, throwing an extra stop at the problem to keep fresh rubber underneath him. He brought it home fourth, and his fuel-corrected pace was genuinely quick, but it wasn't enough to crack the top 3. After a promising sprint, fourth will feel like solid points rather than a breakthrough, but the pace was real. Now the surprise package. Isaac Hadjar dragged his Red Bull home 5th, and the Racing Bulls of Liam Lawson and Arvid Lindblad slotted in right behind in 6th and 7th. That is a huge weekend for that camp. Racing Bulls finishing more than 4 places better than their season average. Look at the sectors, and these cars were closely matched all lap, trading tiny margins everywhere. For a midfield squad, turning raw pace into a haul like that is exactly the kind of day that reshapes the constructors' fight, which brings us to the championship, and the numbers have properly moved. Antonelli still leads on 181, but 2 points for 9th on a weekend he dominated until the car broke means the door is open. Russell is now second on 154, just 27 behind, with Hamilton on 147. Verstappen's dreadful weekend ended in the Stowe barriers 20th. A fortnight ago, this title looked like a procession. It doesn't anymore. In the constructors, it's still Mercedes clear on 335, but Ferrari's 40-point haul, a 1 and a 3, lifts them to 255 in second. McLaren sit third on 179, Red Bull fourth on 128. If Leclerc's Sunday pace is the new normal rather than a one-off, that Mercedes cushion suddenly looks a lot less comfortable. So there is your race. Leclerc's first win of the season, taken with pace, composure, and a strategy that broke Ferrari's way. The standout climbers tell the rest. Leclerc finished nearly 7 places above his season average, Norris almost 6 better in 4th, and Hadjar 5 better in 5th. Another huge day for the rookie, and the man who should probably have won it, Antonelli, watched it fall apart through no fault of his own. Not a classic race, but an afternoon that changed the season. Here's what I want to know from you. Antonelli's lead is down to 27 points, and the man chasing him is his own teammate, with Hamilton 7 points further back and Ferrari suddenly quick on Sundays. So is this title still Antonelli's to lose, or did Silverstone just crack it wide open? Drop your verdict in the comments. I genuinely read them. Enjoyed the deep dive. Hit like and subscribe for fresh analysis after every session.